Hello, everybody. My name is Peter, but sometimes I'm called Pedro. I'm going to read you a story. One of your teachers is my friend Julie Peake, and she asked me if I could read to you a lovely book called Kick. Kick is written by Mitch Johnson. It's the story of Budi, and I hope you enjoy it. Budi's plan is simple. He's going to be a star. Instead of sweating over each football boot he makes, each stitch he sews, each box he packages, he's going to play for the greatest team on earth, rather than in the square behind the factory where he works. But one unlucky kick brings Budi's world crashing down, because now he owes the dragon, the most dangerous man in all Jakarta. Soon it isn't only Budi's dreams at stake, but his life. This is a story about dreaming big, about hope and heroes, and never letting anything stand in your way. And it's dedicated for those who sweat. Chapter 1. It's now or never. 2 minutes left on the clock. The crowd watched with their hands clasped on top of their heads. Scarves hung loosely around their necks. Some of them puffed their cheeks out. It's now or never. The ball is chipped in from midfield and finds him on the edge of the box. He takes it down on his chest and sidesteps the incoming defender. He pulls his foot back to take a shot, but dummies instead, cutting inside the next tackle. The crowd rise to their feet as he surges into the box. The defenders slide to try and stop his shot, but his touch has taken the ball beyond their reach. The goalkeeper steps forward, arms stretched wide, eyes fixed on the ball. The crowd watch through their fingers. Then he shoots. The ball fires past the goalkeeper's fingertips, but for a split second, a heartbeat, it looks as though it might go over the crossbar. The crowd gasp, and then, as the ball hits the back of the net, they erupt. Real Madrid are the new champions. I run off to celebrate and slide on my knees. The little stones on the ground scrape against my skin, and as I get up, I feel blood trickling down my leg. I rattle the rusty corrugated fence so it sounds like thousands of fans jumping and cheering in the stands. The crumbling apartment blocks rise up like a stadium on every side, and I roar loud enough for even the deaf old men on the 5th floor to hear. I put my fingers and thumbs together to make the shape of a heart and pound my chest where the Real Madrid badge should be. The Indonesian Wonder Kid strikes again. The heart shape is my trademark celebration. Whenever Houston scores, he crosses his chest and points to the sky, even though he's supposed to be Muslim. We keep telling him that Allah will be angry if he makes the sign of the cross, but Houston says it doesn't matter because he's only pretending. I still don't think it's worth the risk. Roshi comes over and puts his arm around my shoulders. Oh, what a goal, Budi. You left them for dead. I look across the square at Houston and Widodo lying on the ground. The warm evening air is thick with dust from their sliding tackles, and it smells like money. The square isn't technically a square. It's a quadrilateral triangle. I know this because Roshi told me, and Roshi is a genius. He went to school until he was 13, so he knows pretty much everything, although a lot of it is useless stuff like quadrilateral quadrangles, ancient history, and something he calls physics. He told me recently that the universe is expanding, but I don't really understand what that means. He's tried to explain it, but I'm not a scientific genius like him. I'm a footballing genius like Kieran Wakefield. And one day I'm going to be a world-famous footballer like him too. So normally I just nod and say, cool, and ask Roshi to tell me something interesting about football instead. Fakri, the goalkeeper, leans against the corrugated fence we use as a goal, pulling a piece of plastic coating from the football. Thackeray has to go in goal because he's Catholic. Catholic is just a type of Christian. There's more than one type. They all support the same God, who isn't Allah, but still don't agree. It's like Manchester United and Manchester City. They don't agree on anything other than being from Manchester. Or Thackeray doesn't like going in goal, but it's 4 Muslims against 1 Catholic. Roshi says that's democracy, and you can't argue with democracy. Behind the fence is where the bins are kept. On one of the balconies above the bins, a scrawny man watches us with his feet resting in a groove where the wall has crumbled away. The soles of his feet are black. He chews his nails and spits them over the wall. The smell of fried vegetables and spices wafts across the pitch. The clank of pots and pans reaches us from 3 sides of the square, but the far end is eerily quiet. This is where the dragon lives. Some people think the dragon is called the dragon because he comes from Komodo, which is true, but it's not the reason. Komodo is where they used to send all the criminals, so everyone who comes from there is descended from a convict. This explains a lot, but it isn't the reason why the dragon is called the dragon. Other people think the dragon is called the dragon because he looks like one. They say he got the nickname because of his big stomach and the jeweled rings he wears on every finger and the thick gold chains around his neck. In fact, he was called the dragon before those things. His big belly and rings are chains, and chains because he's rich, mega rich, like a footballer. He's the main landlord and moneylender for the area, so everyone owes the dragon something. And if you don't, it's probably because you just paid him. The real reason why the dragon got his nickname has got nothing to do with where he's from or how he looks. The dragon is called the dragon because if you cross him or betray him or badmouth him, he'll chew you up and spit out your bones, and he won't bother burying what's left of you either. As the dust settles, it sticks to the sweat on my skin. Widodo is up on his feet, brushing the dirt from his shorts. When he offers to help his brother up, Uston slaps his hand away. "Oh, come on, Uston," Roshi says. "Don't be a sore loser." "I want a rematch," Uston says, sitting up and hanging his head between his knees. "Oh, it's too late now," Roshi says. "I have to get home." "Oh, what about golden goal?" Forget it, Uston," I say. "You only have golden goal if the team draw, and we beat you." "Oh, shut up, Budi. That goal was a fluke." "No, it wasn't." "Yes, it was. I bet if we play another match, you won't score any. How about we play 1-on-1? Barcelona versus Real Madrid? Thackeray can stay in goal, and Roshi can run home to his mummy." "Oh, what about me?" Widodo asks. "You can referee," Uston says. Widodo frowns and starts dusting his shorts again. You'd expect Uston to be a better loser by now. Me and Roshi have given him plenty of practice, but I suppose anyone who thinks that Barcelona are better than Real Madrid must have a lot of problems. I really want to stay and beat him, but I know I shouldn't be late home for dinner. "Budi!" Roshi shouts suddenly. "Your leg!" I look down just as the trail of blood reaches my ankle. The drop spills over the plastic tongue of my boot and seeps into the laces. It's the most impressive injury I've ever had. "Oh, that's a nasty one," Roshi says. "You should go home and get that cleaned up." The others gather round and admire the cut in my knee. When I bend my leg, it feels sore, and a fresh dribble of blood seeps out. "Yeah, you should go home," Thackeray says. I pick up my football and start hobbling home. It doesn't really hurt that much, but you've got to make the most of it. That's what footballers do. Above my head, washing lines droop between the buildings, and the clothes, bleached by the summer sun, are like Madrid flags. Like we've won La Liga. Like this is the homecoming. My chest fills with pride and I pat my t-shirt where the Real Madrid badge should be. I'll play you one-on-one tomorrow night, Houston, I call over my shoulder, breaking into a stiff jog. Barca are going down.